Welcome, 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 guys. We are diving into our next conversation. We're super excited to have you here and have our next guest here, Jazzmine Alexander. We're diving into a conversation that so many women need right now. I think is vital and important, especially for mompreneurs, entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, on how to show up online without feeling like you have to perform or pretend. Okay, because a lot of people out here fake it.
Absolutely.
That's why you're breaking. So we want to be able to show up online without being authentic, right? So our next speaker, Jazzmine Alexander, is an entrepreneur, marketer, and founder who has navigated both corporate and entrepreneurship while building brands rooted in authenticity. There we go. And faith. Today, she's going to help us explore what it really means to become magnetic online simply by being yourself. Okay. Yeah, so you guys get ready for this conversation. Go ahead and get your notepad and your pen and take down some notes because it's important for us to show up online. That's a part of visibility, okay? We can't. I know, but a lot of people may not like it, but we have to be there.
We,
We're 2026.
unfortunately, sometimes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Jasmine, but we're gonna call her Jazz because we're girlfriends
Fine,
here. Okay.
Jazz is
Conversation
fine.
today. So let the people know a little bit more about you. Like, tell us your why. How did you get to where you are today?
Okay, so I originally started in corporate America. I went to college, HBCU, the Tennessee State University. And then I graduated and I literally wanted to be like a sports commentator slash anything in sports, preferably the NBA. So I was gonna go to some program in Atlanta. It's called the T3 program from Turner. That's what my goal is to do. Move to Atlanta after college. Long story short, ended up getting a job in Dallas. I applied for another company or a job in Atlanta, but didn't get it. So they were like, okay, we have something available in Dallas. Moved to Dallas, I believe it was 2011. So I moved to Dallas, June 2011, graduated May. So that was a really quick transformation. Moved here, ended up working for a company. I was a field manager. Um, Fast forward 3 years later, ended up getting another job in the company. I was working downtown, kind of like tech support. Did that for years. And then in the midst of that, I was like, okay, let me tap in and do entrepreneurship. Let me open an online store. I always thought about it in the back of my mind, but I'll be honest with you, ladies, I always thought it was bigger than me. It was a fear of mine, and I'm like, I don't really want to go to the post office and be shipping out orders. I'm like, who's gonna buy from me? Like, how do you get other people to buy? Like, so it was like, I don't want to do that. And it really was never like in my mind when I thought of it, I didn't think of like, okay, you can one day make money off of this. It was just like, okay, you like clothes, you like fashion, let's, do it. So my mom ended up passing, I believe it was 2016, and I had went through like this really dark space, depression, did not have any kids at the time. So and my husband, we work different schedules. So like he was always like night and day. He's like a second shifter. I was a first shifter. And I was like super depressed. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out something to do. Went to this women's Bible study called Equipped by Faith. Loved it down. Friend ended up trying to get me to go, pick me up, trying to get me back into Jesus. Because after my mom died, I was like, you know what, God, yeah, we not aligned anymore. Ended up going, cried the whole time, but it was a speaker, and she was like, is there anything, any woman in here, is there anything you guys want to do? Is this something that God has put on your mind that you want to try out, or like whether it's entrepreneurship? And she was like, I'm speaking to you. And I'm looking like, oh my God, like God planted me here for a reason. So walked away from that. Next day, called a friend of mine that still lived in Tennessee and was like, hey, I'm thinking of doing an online boutique. You want to do it with me? She was like, yeah, that was, I believe, November. By February, I think it was February 2017, we ended up going to a magic show in Vegas, looking for clothing. And I think we launched, I believe it was June or July 2017. And at the time, we both were full-time employees. She was a respiratory therapist. I was working full-time with AT&T. And when we did it, we literally never like, you know how you'll start something and you're like, okay, whether it's a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, 5-year goals or plan, like what do you see your company? We never did that. I don't think neither one of us, honestly, we were just like, it's something to do.
Mhm.
Neither one of us had children at the time. It was a pick me up for me to, do something outside of grieving. And we did it. And honestly, I fell in love with it. When we first started, wasn't much revenue at all. Of course, when you launch, and a lot of people, I tell people all the time, a lot of times when you launch a business, especially if it's something where it's a product and it can generate revenue, people may buy like because people, right? So you're gonna have your initial supporters like family, friends, and that can kind of scare you. It's a gift and a curse because you may think like, oh my God, my business is gonna it took off the first week or the first launch day, and then reality comes. It's like, okay, after those people purchase from you, now this is the real world, and now you gotta get people to purchase because no one the people that got it that one time they did their part, but you need to get ongoing customers or customers that you don't know. So we launched, we did good, the first launch, and then after that it was like crickets. Ended up still just it was easy to me. Like I like getting in the mirror. I like trying on clothes. I like
Mhm.
talking about what I got on. So I just started doing it and I don't know, it went from like having 1,000 followers. And then we looked up and like, oh, we got 20 followers. Then we got 30 followers. And so it was organic. And I think it might have been maybe year 3 or 4 when we was like, okay, because we never paid ourselves.
Mhm.
Never paid ourselves because we again, it really I don't even think we were revenue like we wasn't thinking about generating revenue, which you should. I wouldn't say don't do that. But at the time for us, that was not just like the initial goal because we already had our jobs. I think year 3 or 4 we started making money. It was during COVID was my first month where I made, I believe it was $10,000 in sales. And I was like, wait, like we have been doing this for a long time and never made that. And then the next month it went up and went up. So then we literally just started like, okay, let's really put into this. And I would say during COVID 2021 is when we pretty much took off. And
Right.
then was very successful, did very good. But I just literally read something maybe a few months ago and it was talking about business and it was like scaling up can be a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
And and in
Mhm.
our case, it was definitely a gift. And then it also was a curse because I believe it was 2024, the economy kind of tanked.
Mhm.
And people just didn't have money to shop. And so you got a company that we had scaled up. I think we were 2 years in a row, we made $1 million in sales. Um, so to go from that and like on average, consistently, we were making about $100,000 a month in sales, and then it went to okay, 50,000.
Mhm.
Then it everything triggered down, and when I say it triggered down so quick that there was like we had a company that we had hired to help us with our finances and help us, just run our business from the business standpoint because we never had done this. So we were like, okay, we're making more than we've ever made. We need somebody to come in and that they taught us. I don't know if you guys ever heard of profit first method, but we
Mhm.
incorporated the profit first method. They literally we put ourselves on payroll. Everything when I say everything was jit to the T. And once our business tanked, we would meet with them. I think it was like either biweekly. We had like we had a person that it was a company, but then we also had like a person that ran our account.
Are sharing more of that with you guys this year as we are going through it, right? But I just wanted to add to that. And Donna, did you have any insight? Because also our husbands are entrepreneurs, so we are like a household of entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
and we like so we're like pushing out money for everything, trucking and like owner and operating a truck is very expensive. And when you have two people as entrepreneurs, that you can find yourself in a shit ton of debt. Excuse my French, a ton of debt. You could find yourself in a ton of debt. And you look up and be like, wait, how did I get here? Right?
Mhm.
So definitely, but even like Jazzmine said, and even with us, we had monthly accounting meetings, we had profit loss reports, we had plans and strategies to get out of whatever debt where we were in. And sometimes it just looks like, you may have to just restructure. But I wanted to share that. I definitely wanted to share that and
Oh,
add to that.
sure. And I think that that plays a part in like alignment, right? Because it's like we we don't have control over so many things as much as we think we have control as being human beings. We want to control what's going on, how we show up, and we can. Of course, you have to show up to the best of your abilities, right? But even if you're given 100%, that always doesn't equate to 100% on the outcome side, right?
Mhm.
And entrepreneurship has definitely taught us about being okay with that journey because it's highs and lows, ups and downs. And as Jazzmine mentioned, she transitioned from full time corporate America to going into her business once the business was making who wouldn't leave their corporate job if they're making their side the business that they started as a side hustle was making $1 million, right?
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, we're at the high, but then a
There's
couple years
low.
yes.
And for
Yes.
everybody, whether they make
Yeah.
it seem like it's not, baby, everybody has lows, okay?
For sure. So I think it's very important to always keep God at the center because when we're at the highs, we need Him, and when we're also at the lows, we need Him. So never count Him out because He's always needed. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a lot of lessons, and as the one I mentioned, she's been an entrepreneur now for 10 years, so she's been in the game. I think a little bit longer than Jazzmine herself too, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pivot too when you're like, okay, wait, this is what I've been doing for over a decade. Like
Right.
I had my vision planned. I had it clear. Now it's like, okay, what's next? What do I do next? But that's where we come
Mm-hmm.
to alignment and really sitting with God and like writing out your vision, making it clear and saying, God, this is my plan, this is my vision, but what do you have for me? What do you have in alignment for me? And making what do you have for me? Making sure that it's in alignment with how God has the future and the season set up for you. And just I would say season because we're learning too as we are shifting mindset, doing all the mindset work. The things that we go through as entrepreneurs are seasons. Okay. It's not this is what my life is right now. And sometimes we can get into that fog, especially when anxiety and worry and things come about. But it's like it's a season. And I was watching an interview, and I think I mentioned this to you doing it too with Michelle Obama. I can't remember who podcast she was on, but she's been doing a lot of podcasts. So you'll probably see it not on YouTube, social media somewhere. But she said she correlated life to a book, right? She
Mm-hmm.
was like,
The
this is
chapter.
the chapter, right? Like we have chapters and seasons, and she explained it to where she had her chapters of motherhood and being a supportive wife and having her career having to take the back seat. And now
Mm-hmm.
for the past maybe since Obama was out of office, I would say probably she's been able to live out her seasons and her chapters to where she's fully pouring into herself and following her passions and career and doing the things that she wants to do. So I think if we look at it like that mindset shift, if you're an entrepreneur full time, if you have a side hustle while climbing the corporate ladder, look at what you're doing and what you're going through as chapters because we can try to plan our futures. We can be like, okay, this is my life, but it's not, it's just a piece of it. So that's a
Correct. So I got this pencil in my hand because I was taking out down a note, but that I love equating it to chapters, right? Because literally entrepreneurship is one of the things that we talk about is like knowing and sharing your story, right?
yeah,
So a book has chapters. It's a story.
the story.
So right. So like and based on those chapters, figure out ways to market your business. And it's not
Mhm.
necessarily saying to share all the stories or to overshare because that's what God has placed. God has placed it on my heart to not overshare, but to share the lessons, right? So I'm
Mhm.
finding different ways to finding, because again, it's a habit for me to overshare. It's a habit. I'm a talkative person as well, so I have to constantly work on this on a daily basis of not oversharing. But my goal is to. I'm not gonna do it for clients easily. It's just for myself. I just feel like I gotta be just the authentic person. But for me, it's more so, how can we utilize these stories and these chapters,
Yeah.
um, to share and to share a testimony to
Yeah.
create impact. Think of it that way. So it's like,
Mhm.
what lessons have I learned that I could use to market this in my business? Like I can use for marketing within my business, because that's going to allow people to connect too. That's going to allow people to say, oh, she got through this, or I see her going through this. This is what she's doing to apply to her business. These are the different strategies she's applying to her business to grow. I'm gonna do it too. And now I want to buy into whatever she's selling. So figure out ways that you can use the chapters as marketing in your business. I think that is so smart, and it's essential, especially because content is king and we all need to be pushing out content.
Yes, for sure. And then Dwayne, so as we're talking about that, okay, okay, let me ask you something. So as ourselves, like as women, right, we have pressure to show up and look a certain way, right? Look polished, look,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the etiquette of a woman, right? Soft, you're supposed to do this, woman's supposed to do this. Like, have you ever felt the pressure of looking polished? Well, and I know you have, but I want to talk
Lately,
polished and
yeah.
perfect online. I remember we used to do content, right? And I used to be like, how, like, my hair's not done. I'm like, girl, like, you're a mom, you have a little baby, do
Yeah.
that, record that video and like get online. Like, so talk to us about a time where you feel like you had to you was in a season where you had to look overly polished showing up.
Yeah, so for me, I think it was more of a mental thing. I'm like being in my head, but for me, it was more so, Dwayna, don't show up as exhausted as you actually are. Don't show up looking as exhausted as you actually are, because one of the things that I have been very good at is not wearing my heart on my sleeve. I could be going through turmoil, and I would show up and you would never know. Right. So I think it is a combination of like that, as well as the just me wanting to not look as exhausted as I feel in a sense. But yeah, it takes a lot of mindset shifts and a lot of mindset work to get out of that and just get it done. Just do it. Right. I feel like for me, that's just another excuse, another reason for me to not do it. Right. Is then we get out of the excuses and just do it. And again, I don't want to just be doing, because that's very masculine. I want to be soft. I want to be feminine, right? But just do it, get it done, get out of your own head. And I think also imposter syndrome comes up very frequently in entrepreneurship. Like, I'm not supposed to be here, or uh it's like I gotta look good doing this or I can't do it. And it's like, who told you that? Who told you that? Who said that was the marker? Yeah. And Jazz, do you have anything to chime in when it comes to that?
Just what, like being raw and being yourself.
Being raw and being up your showing yourself, showing
Yeah, so like I know when I started, 'cause it's weird when I first started it, I never looked at other online boutiques to see like what they're doing, because I was just like, okay, again, didn't have the biggest goals for it, so I was just having fun with it. So then I did started looking at other, stores, and I'm like, okay, they are polished, or they only show content where they're like really pretty and different things like that. So I thought at first, like, okay, well, maybe that's the type of video I would do. But then I realized, by this time I ended up having a child. So I was like, and I was working a full-time job. So it's like, okay, if I get an outfit on Thursday, I can either show y'all what it looks like now, or I can wait until next week when I can either get my makeup done or do my makeup and have my hair done. I'm like, okay, I don't want to miss out on money.
yeah.
So I was like,
Wow.
I need y'all to see it now. And when I tell you, so many women would DM me and like, I love that you show us the outfit when like in the mirror, raw, nothing edited. And I realized like, my customers were everyday women just like me, moms who wanted to feel, cute, and they like the rawness of it. So although I do think, when I see stuff and everything is aesthetically pleasing, I love that. But for me and what my lifestyle was in that moment, I just couldn't give the aesthetically pleasing look. So I had to just give it raw. Y'all see how it is. Y'all see me with no makeup on. And then I'll give y'all in a couple weeks or a week or two, whenever I have time, I will give you the pretty version of it. But right now, this is what you have to get. And I honestly think, and not for every audience, but for my audience at the time, that's pretty much what worked. And I honestly think that's how I organically, my page grew and I grew so many customers. And that kind of like set me apart, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and so one of the things I feel like that we kind of got brainwashed to think is that everything has to look pretty. Everything, because a lot of creators are making it look aesthetically pleasing. Like, I know you did not roll out of the bed like that.
Look like that.
Like, stop it. Like, we like, come on. And it's
Yeah.
like, or like, especially with like a lot of the beauty content creators, right? It's
Mhm.
like
For sure.
we are showing up and we are showing it's not that's not a realistic morning, sweetie. Not every morning,
Yeah.
it's not. And maybe for some it is, but if you are in this if you are constantly surviving, or you don't have the means and resources to
Hmm.
doing that every day, then and quite often a lot of us aren't. We're building from ground up. We're building from
Absolutely.
we ain't have nobody to invest in that, right? We're building from ground.
Absolutely.
So a lot of us are real, like she said, real everyday women. But
Yeah.
society makes it seem like we have to be polished, and
Absolutely. For
and
sure.
it's just not what it is. It's not what it is. You're gonna give
Yeah.
me pants 5 days out of the week. Okay.
Yep.
No,
I
I
agree.
have this thing now where I'm like, I'm in my comfy mom but cute, like cute but mom, cute comfy mom era. Like, make it comfy and cute,
Yes,
because
but be cute. Hmm.
who got time for all that? I don't, and actually that's how me and Jazz connected, because our sons go to school together, and
Yeah.
I see her. I'm like, oh, she's cute. She looks cute. I think I see you in a comfy but cute outfit. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, yes, yes. So I was like, yes, we have to connect. So okay, Jazz, thank you for sharing that. So when it comes to, I know you said when you came to the realization of when you realized, okay, my authentic community, my followers, this is what they want to see. What advice would you give who is starting a product based business, or just starting a business in general, or have a business but trying to show up differently, about what does being magnetic online actually look like?
So I always say be yourself. And the reason why I say be yourself, because if I could sit up here and tell you, okay, be funny, be cute, or, put your makeup on, that's not really who you are. And it's so hard to keep up something that you're not, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So I feel like if you yourself, I always tell people it's a billion people in the world, or probably more than it's billions of people in the world. You think that, like, you being you, there's somebody that's going to gravitate towards that. You're not for everybody. So that's why when I started my boutique originally, I never looked at other people's and tried to mimic what they did, because although and as I grew into it, I did start looking at other people, let's be clear. But when I first started, I didn't, because I'm like, I just want to be myself, and then if people gravitate towards it, then let them gravitate towards it, because I think when we try to like mimic and be like somebody else, you have to keep that up. And I think it's
Yeah.
so hard to not be authentic. Like, you might see a blueprint, but if that blueprint isn't you, then eventually, people can tell, oh, that's not real, and that's fake. So for me, I'm just like, be you. And I always say, whatever you want to do, if entrepreneurship, whether you have a career, pray to God, ask Him, like, God, if this is for me. I know you guys talked about how, you guys have been entrepreneurs, but you redid it because you felt like, you had to do it God's way. I literally follow a girl, and I actually did a podcast with her before, but like she did different things. She's been an entrepreneur for years, and she started over so many times. And she was like, I realized where I went wrong. She was like, all these years I have been doing it my way, but God kept. He would level me up, but he would keep dropping me, and I would fail. And once I realized like I have to do it his way. So I don't know exactly, is she successful now? I mean, it just depends on what success can look like many different things for many different people. But I know she's doing it that way. And I think she's just said like she had to ask God, what should I do? And I always say that anytime I do something, I'm like, okay, even now I'm like, God, do you want me to get a job? You
Yeah.
know, like tell, if entrepreneurship is not for me, I'm just constantly asking him like, what should I do? And while I'm doing it, I want to do it and be my authentic self. I don't want it to
No.
be like a scripted thing. Like, and I think if it's meant to be, and this is really my calling, it will work being me versus trying to be someone else.
No, I hear that and I live by that too because it is so easy to get caught up in that survival, right? Like, do I need to is this my calling? Like, it's not making ends meet. Like, I got mouths to feed. I got
Mhm.
things I want to do. I want to live life, right? And it's like when you're in that season of the pruning, woo, the questions, the anxiety, the stuff that be coming up. I'm
Yes,
like, Lord, I had the
all of
hardest
the above.
girl, I had the hardest time like transitioning from like, okay, Lord, you really want me to move to Texas? All the way to Texas? Like what? Why? Right? But
Why? And it's a whole bunch of whys. Like, okay, guys.
I'm like, just
yes,
be obedient. I'm just asking you to be obedient here.
Yes, yes, yes. I always tell people, that when they're like, you got all these plans and you're like, I'm gonna do this, 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 and they say like God is like, oh no, like laugh at that because
And
yeah,
listen,
and I swear, like that is my life. Like I have my life planned out for me in my
now
head.
listen, I want to
I knew
say.
who I was gonna be. I just knew what I was gonna do. And nothing. I never even planned on coming to Texas. Like in my mind, I'm from Ohio, and Texas is so far from Ohio. So it's like, well, I'll never go 18 hours away from my family. Make it make sense. I never
Mhm.
right.
dreamed of it. Now versus like Atlanta, I'm like, okay, that's an hour flight. That's not too far from Nashville where I went to college. And I literally, when I applied for a program, you could rank. It was like I think it was 7 or 8 places, and you can rank where you wanted to go. I only applied because Atlanta was number. You could pick Atlanta. So I'm like, Atlanta was number one, Dallas was number two, Houston was number three, and I don't even remember the other ones. But I didn't even care about 2 and 3 because if it
Yeah.
wasn't Atlanta, I wasn't taking the job. It was, and then they're like, yeah, the Atlanta one is full. We have Dallas. I'm like, oh, girl, no, you know. Wouldn't dare go that far. And I mean, look at me now. I think I'm like 14 years in Dallas. And like, I guess this is officially my home. So you just never know. So I'm like, I don't know. Even I'm like, I don't know. God knows. I didn't even know I would be where I am today. So
Yeah, yeah. I think and that's the thing too, like just surrendering to your plans. Like and I like you just said, I had it all figured out. Like I worked so hard to get here. It's like, baby,
Mhm.
second
Yes,
like the work that you did was just that, baby. Like that's not the plan. That's not
it's
is
not
that
the
your plan?
plan. I
Like
never even thought of being an entrepreneur. I was one of them people who was like, I'm gonna work for a good company, do 30 years and retire. Like that American dream. Like, so to be like start a business, and I never thought of it. Never thought that would be me. So you just never know.
Yes. Yeah, okay, so talking about that, okay, so how can women tell the difference between building a brand? Because sometimes we have these brands that God placed in our lives, and we're like, wait, you see me doing this? When you have that realization, like, what tips would you give a woman from building a brand and performing for validation?
Like, would I get them like the difference between building a brand and performing for validation?
How can women tell the difference? Like, what advice would you give them when it comes to like building a brand or actually performing for validation?
So I would say when it comes to building a brand, just, of course, make sure you're putting in the work because a lot of times people want to be entrepreneurs and they want everything to just, fall in their lap. And that's why a lot of times we see people that may have really good following and then they try to do something and you're like, why they're not successful as the person that maybe have 1,000 followers and they're extremely successful because they did a better job at building a brand versus the other people that might have just did it, for validation or they felt like they already had something going. So it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I just think it's important, like, to have your heart in it. And you can't really worry about like what other people think. Like, of course, it's okay to get people's opinions, but when you go looking for validation, especially on the internet, it gets a little tricky. So you just got to know, like, God placed something on my heart. I'm going to give it my all. If it's meant to be, it'll be versus doing something to be validated or doing something performative, like meaning like your heart's really not in it. You're just doing it because you've seen this other person get money. And I always think anytime you do something, if you're only doing it for money,
Yeah.
from an entrepreneurship standpoint, it's probably not for you. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think of when I started and I was able to do it and go so hard for 3 years, 3 to 4 years without making any money off of it, is because I truly loved it. So even once, one door closed and I couldn't understand it. And I'll be honest with you, ladies, it'll be almost a year that ended my business. It was called Dream Closet. And a year later, I still don't understand. Like, I'm still like knocking on God's door asking, like, okay, why? Why did this happen? Why would you let me get so high and then just like end it? And I don't know why, but I do know that it was meant to happen. And I do think God was showing me how good it can get.
I was about
And
to
I
say that.
really think that he's literally I always call myself, I'm a little crazy, I'm a little delusional, but I like think he's preparing me for my next season.
Yeah.
And he was just and I don't know what my next season is, even if it involves, you know, selling clothes, selling anything. I honestly don't know, but I think like even now, like when I think of like I had a friend tell me, why don't you just go get a job? And it's not that I'm above getting a job because I will, but I was like, I know you probably think I'm crazy. You think I'm making excuses, but like when I went entrepreneur, when I left my job, I prayed to God and I asked him to give me like all these different signs, and it was some signs that I just knew wouldn't happen. So when it happened, I knew it was him. So I'm like, I just don't think it's his plan for me to get a job.
Yes.
That's the story. No, that is the story.
I, I swear I do not think I'm bigger than the program. I have worked since I was 13. I've been a worker. I don't have a problem with working for nobody else. And I know like to other people that go to work, they like, why are you complaining? Like, girl, just go get a job like all of us. But I'm like, y'all don't understand the conversations I had with God. I don't think he would have showed me all that and did all of that if that was his plan. Like I was like, I
Mhm.
think he wants me to stay at home with my baby for a year. It might
Yeah.
sound crazy to you, but like
Yeah.
I really do think that I don't know. And again, the story is still unfolding. I don't know. I could be very delusional. It could be the delusion, but for right now, the delusion is keeping me keeping me
No,
going.
it's not delusion. I want to ask something, and it's something that first off, I second all of that you said, right? I actually I went to work, not back to work, because I never had to be an employee since so I
Okay.
went to work
Okay.
for 4 months from February to May. I was
Okay.
desperate for work. I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to be there. 4 months. I lasted 4 months. 4 months. Okay. So I want to share something with you because this just made me think about what I read yesterday. So, and talk about the what success looks like for everybody, right? We have become so enamored with flesh that we have created our own definitions of success, but we already have it written. It's already written about what success
Yeah,
looks. God wants us to prioritize family. That's success. Building a life with your children is success. It
Yeah.
I
doesn't
agree.
matter what it looks like, right? So something I read yesterday, I was like, listen, y'all, you don't gotta read me like this. Like, what is happening? So one of the things that happens to us oftentimes is that like we feel like being a good parent is us staying up late, rising early to do work, to get the work done, to build the legacies, or to provide food, clothes, promotions, a roof over our head. But the Lord, He wants us to sleep. Who said who
Oh
He
my
wants
God.
us to
I
rest?
read a sermon from, I don't know if y'all know, his name is Mike. He's in Birmingham, Alabama, and I listened to his sermon today, and that's what he was, swear y'all, he was talking about like resting and how our problem is we're always going after the next thing, and we have gotten into this world and allowed social media to make us believe that the only success is money, or we're not successful if we don't have things. And I was like, okay, God, like, okay, like, okay, because I'll be honest, I have based success off of that before, and I honestly, the power of the tongue is real, but sometimes I feel like God just, he gave it and he took it because he was like, you are, I'm not gonna say idolizing because I wasn't idolizing, but you're just so like, happy with things, and the real success is peace. And when I listened to that sermon, I can't remember everything, but like Pastor Mike did a phenomenal job of breaking everything down, and he even put himself in it where, he was, getting too driven because I guess he's an artist as well, and he was talking
Mhm.
about how he was thirsty for that, and he was basing his success off of like his congregation, and then he was just like, that's not what it's about. Even if you touch one person, that can be success. And I do think, especially with the internet, like we determine business um being successful by other people, like if they know about it, or who we touched, or if we've generated a certain amount of revenue. When I honestly, whatever type of business you have, like you can be successful just by touching one person, or just by
Exactly.
changing the narrative one time. So it's like I am working on that, and I literally put that in my group chat, like I'm working on, me personally, doing a better job with defining what success is. And I listened to this story one time, and this man was talking about every person should um themselves and have their kids volunteer in hospice. Um, and they broke it down that basically everybody in hospice is dying. And it would change your outlook on life, on what really, like what life is really about. And
Mhm.
nobody in hospice is talking about the money they had, or the cars that they had, or the things that they had. Nobody is ripping on it. They're not even remembering those things. They're talking about like spending time with their kids or their grandkids. And it was like, okay, like I thought of that, and I was like, okay, I need to take my butt to hospice. But
Yeah.
it was like a real like a life changer for me, because when you are at a point where all you want is your health, or your family, you can't have that, like all the other stuff goes out the window. So it's like, even now, with me probably should have gotten a job, I'm just like, I never got the even though my baby stresses me out like no other. With my first baby, I had to put him in daycare at 4 months, and we're 10 months in. I've been blessed enough to still not have to put him in daycare. And it's like, as much as it stresses me out, I wake up and like he might be crying, I might be crying with him, but I'll be like, thank you, God. Like this, like this is
Sure.
this is
Unexpected.
it drives me crazy, but I'm really grateful. And I'm like, I just be like, this is it. This is good stuff. So just learning to appreciate things, and me personally, how or what I define success as.
Yeah.
No, definitely,
I think too, like,
definitely work, because I'm sorry, Wayne, to cut you off. There might be
I was,
like
no
yeah,
worries. I was gonna say
go
it's
ahead.
probably like, I'm sorry.
Go
I was going to piggyback off of that, Jasmine, because like one of the things that like defining what success looks like to you, but like if you're I think it depends on what you believe too, right? As far as like your spirit, what do you believe? Because whatever you believe, like so if I not if I believe in God, right? So if you believe in God, then your goal should be eternal life. You
Absolutely.
you being an early riser and a late going to sleep every day, pouring into this business is not going to get you eternal life. You being an early riser for God will, though. Are you reading your
Absolutely.
Bible? are you
Absolutely.
are you sharing God's word with another person that may not know who God is? Like, how are you, like we said, are you touching at least one person? Are you creating impact? And God could put me here, God could have put Dwayne in here to impact 5 people. Right. And I'm thinking God wants me to touch this person, this person, this person, and 1,000 people. And it's like, no, I just wanted you to get in front of these 5 people.
Well, it's 5 people.
These
Yeah.
5 people I know need you, and I've already had that plan for you. So just these 5 people, and that's the impact that you were supposed to create. Like truly, I feel like it really starts with your beliefs and what you believe in. Because
Absolutely.
if we believe in God, then the goal is eternal life, doing the things on earth that will get us there.
And there I am.
Me wrecking my brain around growing this business is not going to get me there.
And
Me
not
opening
at
my
all.
mouth and knowing the word and applying it to my life will.
Yeah.
Me not getting rest is not going to get me eternal life. It's going to get me some medicine prescriptions very soon and early, right? So it's like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so I feel like it really started like, and that's when the mindset is start. What do you believe? What do you believe? And that's a part of your story too. It's like, what do you believe? Understand, like jot that down. You can have pride beliefs, or what were you taught to believe? What
Were
did
you
you
talking about? Yeah.
growing up? Because a lot of us are operating from that anyways. Like,
Mhm.
what did you like? What did your parents tell you that your beliefs was? But yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that because I feel like it's a that's the important part. It's like we have let society define success for us, and it's just like that's not it.
Absolutely. It's like
Because
we're in a bubble and it's so much more to success than what we see.
mhm, mhm.
Yes, and success, I think, is important if you are a parent or you want to become a parent one day, which most women on this call probably will be. If you're not a mom now, you will be one day. And I also think we're mothers, and even if we don't mother other children, like we still have that influence of the mothering spirit. But I think it's important to know too, like we are shaping our the next generation, right? So when it comes to like us as now we are stay-at-home moms, growing businesses, wives, we're doing those things, and sometimes we can get lost in the what we want our lives to look like and missing the like the small moments of mothering or our calling. Okay, so this is an awesome conversation. So we're I know we've been talking for a while, so I'm going to ask a couple more questions and then we're going to get into the rapid fire questions. But this is great, and Jazz is going to also share where you can follow her brand and get into these pieces because I'm trying to save up a little stash to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
purchase some outfits from her because they're cute. They're
Yes,
cute.
yes, yes, yes,
Drop
yes.
the we're gonna drop the links in when we share, but she's gonna drop
Okay.
her handles too. Okay, so what would you tell the version of yourself who was just starting?
Version of um to what would I tell the version of myself that was just starting? One, to think big, because I don't think I thought big. I didn't think anything. I just did it. To think big and to have fun with it. I think at one point in time when we did scale up so much, it was a gift and a curse because it was like I feel like I became very stressed. I became macho man or macho woman, and it was like doom, 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 doom. And it was like, okay, I made this amount this month. What do I need to do to make this other amount? And it wasn't as fun for me. So just to think big and just always have fun, and then to always, anytime I have doubt, to ask God, like, what do you want from me? I think a lot of times we pray and we wonder, God, why is I pray for this, I ask for this, why isn't it happening? Instead of changing the prayer to God, you know, I want what you want for me versus what I want for me. So you may be praying and you say, God, I want I see this company, they made this in revenue. I want to make my company make that, and that's gonna, you're like, I want that, and that's gonna make me happy. And then, God, it may not happen for you, and it may be because you might not even know how to handle that much of a workload. Like, so maybe you should pray, God, do have me do something that I'm going to be not only successful in or not only generate money, but be happy in. Because I think a lot of people have a misconception on what, like we said, success is. So I have learned lately, instead of just giving this list of what I want, I say, God, okay, these are the things I think I want. But if you have something else for me, because you're way wiser than me, and sometimes I don't know what I want, give me what you want for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I think I would have did that early on instead of just, I would say, Lord, give me 5 to 10 orders a day. That was literally my crazy prayer. And sometimes I would still pray it now. But instead of just, keep it fun for me, God. Let a girl put some of my stuff, feel pretty about herself. And, so just changing my thought process somewhat.
Definitely got to change the thought process. I think is very, very key. And one of the things that came up for me, the sayings of "you got this," right? Because I feel like at least for the first 5 years, almost every day you won't want to give up.
No, I'm going through it now. I'm like, God, this is not what I'm supposed to do. Just say that, and I just figure, I'll take a nap, Lord. Let me take a nap.
You got this, especially if you've done the work of asking God, is this an alignment for me? He says yes. And it's constantly things being thrown at you to make you feel like you don't got it. You got this. You got
Yes.
this. You got this. I think one of the things that was a real eye opener for us is, which we're teaching other entrepreneurs, is like, we can't even get to the strategy if we ain't in the mindset.
Yep.
Like it's a mind
That is,
right. Like because
that
if you
is,
got these beliefs and habits from your 8-year-old self that necessarily is not in alignment with what it is that you're creating, then you're going to constantly feel like you're in this loop. So I feel like if you did the step of asking God, is this for me? And he told you this is, and you constantly still feel in the space of that this isn't, just remind yourself like you got this.
got
I
this.
got this
I'm
because you
gonna,
do.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna keep that in mind to just write in my notes. So you got this.
Put a sticky
Yeah.
note up on the mirror. Put it on your mirror so you can look at it every day
Yeah,
when you brush your teeth. You got
you
this.
got this.
I
Yeah.
literally have I have a photo from when I was a toddler sitting here on my mirror. I look at it every day, and I have a photo from when I was about 8 years old with Jurassic Park in the background on the TV. I created a book around paleontology. I didn't realize so that photo, I didn't even correlate the purpose with the photo.
Mm,
Like you get what I'm saying? And it's like literally
yeah.
Jurassic Park is on. Like if I grab the photo for y'all right now, let me grab it. Hold up.
Well, I never knew that, Wayna. This is my first time hearing this. That's amazing. Yes, so for people who are new tuned in, Dwayne is also a children's book author. Yes. And I said the
Yeah. So
paleo.
look at this, guys. What do you see back there? Jurassic
Jurassic Park.
Park.
Yeah.
Okay, and I created a book for children that is around this age. This is my book,
Oh
guys.
wow.
So talk
Oh
about
wow.
like so whatever you need to do to affirm yourself, do it. Because this is
Yeah.
like okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. This confirmed it for me, right? So even when I'm feeling like even when I'm feeling like this is not you're not supposed to be here, it's like no, you got this, girl.
You
You
got
got
this. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
this.
Word. Yes, that was a word. Okay. Great ending there. So a lot of good stuff. And Jazz, again, thank you for joining the conversation
Thank
because
you for having me.
we have some great women, great things. And it's a blessing to be able to be amongst and rub elbows with women of your stature.
Absolutely.
So grateful for that. Okay, so we are through this segment of Align and Thriving. Your message is the movement. And Jazzmine gave us some great tips on how to show up magnetically online. Um, and Jazz, so let the ladies know how they can actually see your magnetic content. Okay, your where can they find you, and let us.
My Instagram is shop J Alexander, and it's exactly how it sounds, just regular, nothing fancy or anything. Just shop DJ Alexander. I think it's the. I got more than one page, so let me make sure. But I'm almost sure it's shop DJ Alexander, and then yeah, of course it is. So ShopTheAlexander. And this I think I launched in August, so it hasn't even hit a year mark, but I am I specialize in kind of like leisure wear, but like every so often I have this a collection called the Jazz Pick, and it may be something a little, spicier or a little something if you want to go out in or maybe do a date night. But I really am like a on the go mom, so the majority of the things are like, just like cute little throw on sets and different stuff like that. I know like when the seasons change, I do tap in into I get like more jackets and everything, but I would say I'm still in the growing phase. So I definitely the more, the longevity of it, I'll be able to offer more pieces and more products. I've already grown a lot since August. So and then I'm into fitness, love working out. Well, love, hate working out, love the results of working out, don't really love working out. Okay. Sometimes it does help my mental, but sometimes I'm like, why am I here? So
Mhm.
I also have like a waist training line. And that is strictly fit. I'll give you guys the actual Instagram of it. It's just strictly STRCKLYFIT_. So
Yes. Okay. And then Jasmine also is going to give you ladies who have attended the summit a treat. Okay. She's giving
oh,
you a discount. So we're going to drop that in the email, and we'll drop it.
yeah,
You'll get a discount to shop her brand. You won't
absolutely.
keep pieces, even if it's last season. Buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then Jazz, again, thank you. This conversation was great. Any
Thank
last
you, ladies. This was fun and good and organic, and I loved it. And one of the things I will say I enjoyed the most is, both of you ladies pretty much talking about leading by faith and like incorporating God in it, because I know a lot of times we live in this world where now, you don't want to say too much. And I know when I first started out being an entrepreneur, I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to talk about God because I don't want to offend anyone or da 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 da. And then I'm like, no, this is you. This is how you got here. That taps back into it's billions of people in the world. There's going to people that are going to be for you, and there's people that are not. So if them people is the devil and they don't want to hear about God, they don't need to shop with you.
Mhm.
I've accepted that. So
Listen,
I am glad that you ladies are, speaking on your faith and speaking on the why and speaking on, what God really wants for us and speaking on, sometimes as women, like it's okay to be a boss woman and it's okay to make all this money and make all these decisions, but it's also okay to live in your soft girl era and be soft and like,
yeah,
be happy.
we was raised to be masculine. We don't gotta do
We,
that.
yeah, I always say like I'm such a in so many aspects, like I'm such
girl?
a man, and I'm learning even in counseling. I've tapped into marriage counseling. Um, I
Over
love
here, yes.
because
If you want to grow,
yes,
please
absolutely.
it.
And one
Okay.
of my friends said, I was telling her about it. She was like, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know, that, you were going through marital problems with your husband. I said, girl, I'm not. The counseling is
Everybody
for
does
when,
though.
before they come though. I was like, I said, when you're married or any relationship, you're going to always have ups and downs. It's not like it's something big that just happened. I'm just not all the way all right in the mind. And, I want us to be aligned. And I'm like, it's okay to have those refreshers. You don't always have to wait until even
It's
like
the
when it comes.
doomsday,
Yeah.
right?
And I
We're
think a
trying to
lot of
prevent that.
people, especially in our community, even when I mentioned it, my husband was like, "What's wrong?" I thought we were good. I'm like, nobody said anything was wrong. Like, what is wrong with talking things out and learning how to better communicate anything in life, you're gonna have to work on it. But yeah, so
Listen, I mean, before we get off, because I'm in couples therapy too, okay?
yeah.
One of the things I want to put out there, because I think people think so, I don't know what I think they have still this negative connotation around therapy. But
Hmm.
sweetie, did you grow up in a house with your husband? It's like if we grew up in two different houses and we have two different ways of doing
Right, we
things,
have to learn to align and communicate together.
and
Like,
a third party is necessary, okay?
absolutely, I agree. I love it. It's tough, and you have those hard conversations, but like, I love it. It's like a
Like,
love. Yeah,
yeah, so it's like, and just to be transparent, we had a tough session on Saturday, but baby, by Tuesday we was having we done slept on a we had us thinking, we done had a good conversation all week.
absolutely. I warn people all the time, like, first thing, you might be mad, y'all might walk away mad at each other, or, you might cry. I cry a lot in counseling. But I'm like, it overall, like, yes. Even I've done counseling for myself, even without my husband, and it's like,
Right.
it's not, I mean, I am probably a little thought of, but it's not necessarily because something's wrong. I
I
want
want to
to learn
grow.
about myself. I want to learn why I'm the way I am. I want to learn, is this fixable? When you have two different people and you guys are trying to align, and you didn't realize, but so, like, we are the way we are, and we do the things we do a lot because of how we grew up and what we seen growing up. So that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but a lot of times you need that third party to kind of do this, so it doesn't seem like someone's on your back, or you're offending them. So again, I
Right,
love it.
right. Listen, love
No,
it, love it, love
yeah,
it. So more, we need.
literally for the past 2.5 years. Literally, my therapist, I love her down. Okay,
Mhm.
I do solo, I do group, so it is needed. So yeah, ladies, that's the first step before you become a magnetic online. Get a therapist, get a coach.
Yeah,
All right, so Dwayne, you were about to say something. You about to wrap it up?
No, yeah. So I think what essentially, like, for us anyways, the conversation around our purpose, like we're promoting healthy marriages and we're promoting healthy mothers, and we're
absolutely,
promoting mothers that can show up for themselves, right? That
absolutely,
so and that's what it is, right? That's what we're here to do. Because again, for me, what I believe, the most important thing is family. Okay. So we're gonna pour into all the moms, all of the wives, all of the women that are looking to become moms. We want to pour into you guys. So thank you guys for joining us.
absolutely.
See you on the next conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank y'all. Have a good day.